even remember to turn my mic back on. But yeah, alright. I exist. I'm here. I was trying to... Oh. I was trying to split the difference between starting on time and eating food so I don't get like super hungry midway through. Let's see. I'm also noticing my Zoom window and looks a little off, and I'm wondering if I'm still using the same one as before. Yeah, I am. Boop. Boop. There we go. I still had the one from Overcooked up, so it wasn't registering my my transformative changes. Oh no, and now I'm like trying to move it and it's not moving, and I realize it's because it was locked. Alright. I am gonna actually open the game now. I just like playing the opening, is what I've come to realize, so. And it only plays the opening when you first open it, so. Hence, starting on a blank screen. Hopefully this will pick up in shortly. There we go. It's just a fun little opening with a good song, and I just like it. And see, like, now that I'm so far into the story, that image makes sense, because it's like she's gonna be the new bearer of one of the crystals, and it's like, it was so foreshadowed, but like, I totally didn't see it coming. So yeah, he's gonna be the last route I play, because apparently he's endgame. He's the second to last, and I really look forward to finding out what's going on with him. Karma will be next after Rod, so that'll be starting pretty soon. And then Rumple's in the middle. And we are almost at the end of Rod's route. Cinderella, why don't you stay with me tonight? We will dance until midnight comes and we could run away. Oh, we will never ever be apart. Set aside all your fears, this magic lives inside of us. I am here, would you wanna stay with me tonight? Follow me, we will run across the bridge of fantasy. All the pain and sadness that you feel. Okay, and now we just have the background flash. So long as I am here. All right. Oh man. If anyone is, I don't have very many viewers, so I'm gonna assume that the only people here have already more or less know what's going on. So this time, I'm not gonna give a full, like, anyone watching this VOD, please go back to the beginning and watch all the other VODs if you're watching VODs anyway. I mean, if anyone is new here, I'm always happy to answer questions. If there is someone watching the stream that is not showing up on my viewer count, for sure, let me know and I'll explain what's going on. But like, in these last two chapters, I kind of hope that the people who are watching me have watched some amount of the previous ones. And if not, I will encourage them to maybe consider coming back in Monday the 27th, when I'll be starting back over from the prologue to play Karma's route, which I assume is gonna... So let's see, I think the routes are gonna be... So Rod's is obviously this one, he's got the mermaid curse. This one is gonna be Rumple, he's got the Rumpelstiltskin curse. I assume the rose is Karma, just because it seems fitting. Based on all the wolf imagery with Fritz, I'm now thinking that Fritz might be the Red Riding Hood one. And I have no idea what... Oh, no, I do know what the star is. I was like, I have no idea what that is. But then I was like, if I'm correct on all the rest, the only one left is Waltz, and I'm pretty sure he's got Neverland Curse. So, Peter Pan stuff. Which is why he looks younger and then older at different points in the opening. He is basically cursed to look younger than he is, which, well, it'll be a while before we get to Waltz's route. Because, in the meanwhile, though, let's continue with Rod's. So yeah, so this chapter, as I recall, was called The Wedding, and we're gonna see... I'm assuming it's gonna be Viorica's wedding, and, like, the Rod's curse is gonna be dealt with one way or another, but let's see. Makes sense with the compass rose as the symbol, yeah. That's what I was thinking. It took me a second to remember what that symbol was, but... Alright. Yep, back. Chapter 9. The Wedding. The throne room is empty when I arrive. Lucette, thinking to herself. I can only hope that this is not some sort of trap. Oh, right, Varg, the very... Totally not the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood with his name that means wolf and his wolf cane and his wolfish smiles. I believe told Lucette to meet him in the throne room late at night, and she's decided to just show up without telling anyone is kind of what it looks like. Yeah. No, I don't have a... Like, oh god, she actually goes. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the fact that she goes. I have a problem with the fact that she seems to have gone without telling anyone. I'm gonna just hope that maybe she thought to, like, tell Rod or someone. And so she is not just going in here blind with no backup, cause Lucette, please tell me. But we'll find out. Soon after I enter, the door squeaks open and a familiar face enters the room. Oh? Lucette. Sir Mithros? Sir Mithros walks toward me. When he is close enough, he drops to one knee and bows. I frown as I take a step back from him. Mithros. My princess, do not be alarmed. I know of your true identity. Well, he does seem to follow her, so yeah. So Rod, if she gets in trouble, even if she didn't tell Rod, he will probably find out. But man, I wonder if in fact Mithros... So it seems pretty obvious at this point that Mithros is the witch that was in the palace. And I'm wondering if his plan is like, yes, let's go back to that whole war with the humans thing. Right? Just like your mother wanted? Let's do it. But I don't know. I might be maligning him unfairly. We'll find out. So, Mithros says, my princess, do not be alarmed. I know of your true identity. Lucette. Shocked. Sir Mithros flashes me a wide smile that causes a shudder to run down my spine. Lucette. You know who I am. Then that means that you are. I take another step back as the blood drains from my face. Sir Mithros' smile only widens at my reaction. Mithros. I'll say it for you. Yes, I am a witch. Lucette. If you are a witch, then Sir Alcaster is... Mithros. A mere human. A fool one. Lucette. And Varg? Mithros. Nothing but my personal errand boy. A thought suddenly occurs to me. Lucette, thinking to herself. If Sir Alcaster was plotting against the kingdom, then did Sir Mithros also punish Fritz somehow? Lucette, out loud. What about Fritz? Was he a part of Sir Alcaster's plans? Mithros. Ah, the knight. To avoid confusing you, let us just say that the situation surrounding him is too complicated to adequately explain. I think there's a very simple explanation, and the explanation is that Varg is Fritz with a curse. Incidentally, today's tea is a oolong that it's alright, but it's not as good as some of the other oolongs I've been trying recently. It's a Jade Nanto, I think is the name of it. Anyway, I just like talking about my tea. Yeah, he is cursed and Varg. Yeah. Yep, it is the reasonable assumption. Alright. Too complicated to adequately explain. Maybe also just translates as, I don't feel like it. Lucette. Out loud. Well, of course, out loud. I command you to answer my question, Sir Mithros. Was Fritz a part of this? Mithros. Silence. If it makes you feel any better, he refused to be a part of this. Lucette, thinking to herself. He refused? Does that mean he was not a part of the plans, or just that he was unwillingly forced to participate in them? I would bet the latter. I'm so invested in this story now. Right? This is so exciting. Oh, man. Yes, in fact, Lucette, I think, is probably on the nose with the... that probably means not that he didn't participate, but that he participated unwillingly. I think it translates to his... yes. I think it translates to his story is another run-through. Yup. I imagine we'll find out much more about what's going on with Fritz in Fritz's route. Hence the order. That makes a lot of sense, because if I played Fritz's route before Rod's route, this would just be like, we know exactly what's going on with him, and that wouldn't be as interesting, so story order is a good thing. Lucette, continuing to think to herself. I am certain that Sir Alcaster would not be happy that his own son was disobeying him. He either forced him to help or assigned him outside of the palace. But if Fritz knew of Sir Alcaster's plans, why did he not warn anyone about them? Was he working with Sir Mithros as well? More questions swirl in my head, but none of them have answers. Yet. Game doesn't say yet, but I say yet. Also, again, cursing him would be a great way to prevent him from telling anyone. Lucette, thinking to herself, when this is over, I will personally ask Fritz about this, once I can locate him. I shake the thoughts away and bring my attention back to Sir Mithros. Lucette, why bother with this reveal? What do you hope to gain from it? Mithros. Before we start our conversation... What? What is he doing? What is he doing to her? Sir Mithros waves his hand, conjuring a faint green glow that envelops the whole room. Oh, okay. It's okay, fine. Okay, fine. It seems like it is just a silencing spell. Mithros, out loud. Just in case someone decides to eavesdrop. I wouldn't want any of your witch friends listening in on us. Lucette, shocked. Mithros. Yes, I am aware that one of them has been snooping around the palace these past few months. Their snooping has made it more difficult to move around without exposing myself. Sir Mithros clicks his tongue in annoyance. Such a nuisance. Lucette, thinking to herself. He is referring to Delora. She and Parfait warned me before that there was a witch in the palace. Is Sir Mithros truly that witch? I never really trusted him, not even when I was a princess. Now that he has revealed himself as a witch, I need to know what he plans on doing. Lucette, out loud. You knew that I was the princess this entire time, yet you never offered me any assistance. Mithros. If I had, Sir Alcaster would have targeted you as well. Lucette. What? Mithros. Alcaster wanted to dispose of the royal family. If he had known you were the princess, he would have been after you too. It would have been easier with no one remembering you as the princess. But unfortunately, Fritz told his father about you, thinking that Alcaster might be able to help and protect you, and it didn't help that Varg confirmed it. Your mother wouldn't have been happy with me if I put you in harm's way. That is why I had to pretend not to know you in order to protect you. Sir Mithros is silent for a few moments before he speaks again. Out loud. Revealing myself to be a witch was necessary. I had to make myself appear useful to Alcaster somehow, after all. Then, of course, I learned of his foolish plans to steal the crown and decided to thwart them, though not before I stole something from Alcaster first. I played him like the fool he was. I told him I would aid him with my magic so long as he gave me the knight's protection. Using magic is almost impossible in this place, so having the knights to back me up was crucial. Lucette thinking to herself. The knights? What does he need the knights' protection for? What are his plans? Yeah, he did just confirm that Fritz and Varg are both cursed or witches or fae. Yep, he sure did. He sure did. I mean, we already knew that about Fritz because Fritz recognized Lucette immediately, and the only way for that to be possible would be the whole... something was going on with him. So, yes, we've also confirmed just now that Varg is... I mean, unshockingly, Varg is probably cursed, but could be a witch or fae. Oh, man. Sir Mithros starts pacing the room, his expression still calm. Oh, and sorry to interrupt again, but, like, the other thing I'm noticing is he's still really sticking to the story that he never had an ill will, it was all Outcaster's idea, and he just went along with it to thwart it, and I'm like, I look forward to finding out how true that is. Anyway, Sir Mithros starts pacing the room, his expression still calm. I found out that he planned to dispose of me after he obtained what he needed, so I disposed of him first. Damn. Sorry, that's me saying damn. Damn. He planned to dispose of me after he obtained what he needed, so I disposed of him first. Mithras, continuing. Alcaster might have been able to convince most of the knights to aid him by promising them promotions, but... well, my magic is far more convincing. Sir Mithros stops in front of me, his deadpan expression transforming into a smile. Out loud. For now, let us desist to speaking of my plans. The minute Alcaster's plans were thwarted, I knew I had to contact you directly. I'm happy to see you in the palace, Your Highness. Although, we really need to get you out of those clothes soon. A maid's clothing does not befit a princess like yourself. Lucette. That does not matter. My priority right now is to break my curse. Mithros. Of course. They must truly have been frightened to feel the need to curse you. I feel an uncomfortable tug in my heart. Mithros. To think that the Lucis Bearer would actually allow a witch to curse you. Sir Mithros shakes his head, disgust written on his features. Mithros. When you suddenly disappeared that day, it was as if all traces of your existence had vanished. I searched for you endlessly, Princess. When you first appeared here in the palace, I did not recognize you immediately, but I felt a touch of magic in you and investigated. My curiosity is what prompted me to investigate you further. When I tried hard enough, I found I could see through the glamour that had been cast on you. That's interesting. I thought it was just straight up witches could see through it, but maybe it's a little more complicated than that. Maybe it's cursed people can see through it in a hot second, and witches and fae need to try a little harder. Anyway, Lucette, shocked, thinking to herself, so Sir Mithros truly was the witch Parfait was referring to when she mentioned someone seeing through the glamour. Mithros. Imagine my surprise when I found out that it was actually you. Although I'm actually thinking it's also possible they put an extra glamour on her in addition to the curse, like just so that people would be less likely to recognize her, maybe? But on the other hand, that doesn't entirely explain why Fritz was able to, like, immediately. Except that we know that all cursed people have a total immunity, so... Anyway, Mithros. That fairy bearer has been nothing but a nuisance to us witches. First she betrayed your mother, and then she betrayed you before she had even met you. Lucette. But mother... she was the Tenebrarum bearer corrupted by darkness. Parfait only did what she had to. Sir Mithros looks at me, clearly surprised. Mithros. What lies have those people been whispering in your ear? Everything the Queen did, she did for us witches, to protect us from the wicked humans who destroyed our kind. Lucette thinking to herself. It is clear to me where Sir Mithros' alliances lie. And I mean, I feel kind of bad, because he's not wrong. Like, it's pretty messed up that the humans were like, clearly all witches are evil and we need to hunt them down. That's politics. Yeah, I assume you meant about that earlier. But yeah. Yup. Sir Mithros sighs, runs a hand through his hair, and then continues speaking. Mithros. On your 18th birthday, you will follow her footsteps. You will make this kingdom a place for all witches to prosper. Lucette. I am nothing like her. I refuse to make people suffer to fuel the crystal. Oh, yeah, Magneto was not wrong. Yeah. I never bore witness to the suffering the people had to go through during my mother's reign, but the stories are enough to reveal her true nature to me. It was hard to believe at first, but those people do not have any reason to lie to a servant like myself. They have nothing to gain from it. Lucette, thinking to herself. I finally understand why the hatred people had for me ran so deep, even when I did nothing to them. It was because I was the witch's daughter. Which is still not entirely fair. Like, it's, sins of the father is not a thing I believe in, or mother in this case. Mithros. Your mother wouldn't be happy to hear you say that. Let me assure you that this is not a destiny you can run from, dear princess. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself, I will not let destiny take control of my life. I feign tiredness by releasing a long yawn. Lucette. I am sorry for cutting you short, Sir Mithros, but please excuse me. I am getting tired. I'm about to walk past Sir Mithros when he starts speaking again, his voice a low whisper. Mithros. I noticed that you have gotten closer to the family you so despised before, the prince included. I narrow my eyes at him. Mithros. You care about him, don't you? Lucette. Silence. Mithros. I must confess that this surprises me, princess. Such a relationship would certainly be a scandal. Even if you two are not blood related, he is still your stepbrother. Whatever will your dear father say about this? I clench my fists. Lucette, thinking to herself. He has no right to lecture me. I already know that these feelings are wrong. I know that I cannot have them. Yeah, it does get complicated. Like, it's not bothering me as much as it would in other contexts, just because they didn't grow up together. They, only met each other a year before this, but it does get real awkward when you have step family stuff involved. And that's not me saying, I'm okay with all cases. I just feel like in their case, it is awkward, but not as problematic as some other similar types of relationships. So that's just my thought. Lucette. I assure you that there is nothing between the both of us. Mithros. Oh, is that so? Are those lies you utter just to convince yourself? Lucette, thinking to herself. This man is beginning to try my patience. Mithros. Allow me to share a little secret with you, princess. Lucette. I'm not interested. I head for the door and reach for the knob. Mithros. Oh, but I think it is something you would be most curious about. I do, after all, know the consequences of the prince failing to break his curse. I also happen to know that someone special to him is getting married tomorrow. My hand freezes. Lucette. How do you know about all of this? Mithros. I know all of the happenings around this palace. That is my job, princess. Now tell me, do you know the ending to the fairy tale of the Little Mermaid? My blood runs cold when I remember what Emmeline told me about that fairy tale. Flashback to Emmeline saying, if the prince fell in love and married someone else, the Little Mermaid's heart would break and she would dissolve into sea foam. Mithros. I conducted my own investigation and actually met the witch who bestowed the curse on the prince. In meeting her, I found out everything that there is to know about it. I turn to regard Mithros with a frown. Mithros. Ah, it seems I've finally gotten your attention. Lucette. What do you plan on doing to Rod? Sir Mithros shrugs. Mithros. To him? Nothing really. I was merely curious. I wanted to know what you saw in him. Lucette. What do you know about his curse? Mithros. It stays true to the fairy tale, only in this case the prince gives up his voice for a title. Still, it will end the same way. The girl will fall in love with someone else, despite his sacrifice. Lucette. You mean... Mithros. On his beloved's wedding day, the prince will die. I had thought you might have reached the same conclusion. Tragic, don't you think? Lucette, thinking to herself. I had the same thought, but is Rod truly going to die? So the reason Rod gave up breaking his curse was because he knew that Viorica would never love him back. He knew that he was going to die the moment Viorica got married. Dread begins to wash over me. Mithros. Why not ask him yourself? As if orchestrated by magic. Let's be real, it's possible. The double doors open and Rod steps inside. When he sees me, his expression relaxes. Rod. I've been looking all over for you. I wanted to speak with you about my discussion with Lady Parfait. I turn around to face Sir Mithros once again, but to my surprise, he's already gone. Lucette, thinking to herself. When did Sir Mithros leave? Rod. Lucette, is something wrong? Lucette. Silence. Was Sir Mithros really speaking the truth? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do my usual save before choice. Boop. And I'm gonna... So I feel like doing the somewhat angrier option last time was a bad call, so I'm gonna try just asking him. Because that was the one I ended up having to go all the way back to redo, because it was like going the heartfelt instead of the anger. Seems like the more correct choice for later in the tsundere type route. So just give me 1 second. I seem to have... I lost my water bottle, so I'm drinking out of a cup of water, and I have just been reminded of why I don't usually do that. It didn't spill too egregiously on my keyboard, but enough that I just want to wipe that up real quick before I continue. Alright. So, we're gonna try the nicer and less angry option of asking him. Lucette. Is it true that you will die when Viorica marries Desamond? Rod. Silence. I see you're still stuck on the same theory. Have you been snooping around again? Lucette. Please answer my question, Rod. Rod. Silence. And if I am? Lucette. Why do you not want anyone to help you fix this? Rod. I don't need to tell you everything, Lucette. Oh, his voice is soft, sorry. Let me go back and do that again. I don't need to tell you everything, Lucette. His voice is now soft, his expression tired. I've been aware of another way to break my curse from the beginning, but I would rather die than do what it is I need to do. Lucette. Do what? Rod. Have you not read? Rod's voice trails off when he sees my confused expression. He clears his throat. Rod. Forget it. Yeah, I'm gonna say that right there is pretty much confirmation that the other option is murder Viorica and or Desamond. So, and like, yeah, no, I can totally understand why he's like, yep, okay, if my choices are kill someone or die, then to him it's a clear choice, but I just hope we're able to help him work around it. Rod. There is nothing more you can do. The reason I never told anyone the truth of my curse is because I never wanted anyone to blame themselves for not being able to help me. I was already a lost cause the moment Viorica really fell in love with someone else. I could never take that happiness away from her. Rod becomes silent, his gaze downcast. The vulnerable expression catches me by surprise. Lucette. You should have told me about your curse a long time ago. Rod. How many times must I repeat myself? Telling you about my curse won't change the outcome. Lucette. I could have tried to help you. Rod. Why are you so insistent on helping me? Lucette. Because I care about you. Shock. My face warms up when the words escape from my lips. Rod also flushes. That said, I'm actually thinking that maybe this has gone far enough that I might need to go back and redo it. Because this might be that confront was the better answer after all. This feels like it's scene transitioned enough. So... Alright, let's try that again with confrontation. I guess it is kind of the, like, climactic ending sequence bit, or, like, we're such that a confrontation is maybe... He's also been very reticent about it. Of course, I'm also worried now that I didn't, like, wait long enough for the choice indicator to come up, but, like, you know, well, if I have to go back and redoing it, that's also a thing I can do, and I just hope I won't have to. Alright, so Lucette, thinking to herself, was Sir Mithros really speaking the truth? And instead of simply asking, this time we're gonna be like, hey, dude, and confront him. Lucette, is this how you really want things to end? Rod, what are you talking about? Lucette, have you even thought about what your family will feel after they find out that you lied about your curse? Rod, shocked. Lucette, you're going to die when Viorica gets married tomorrow, am I right? That is why you told me that there is nothing I could do to help you break your curse. Rod, because there really is nothing you can do to help me. Viorica will never return my love. I already accepted my fate a long time ago. Lady Parfait was the only one who insisted I find another way to break my curse. Lucette, because she refuses to give up on you. And I will not give up on you either. Okay, that's very sweet, and I appreciate that was where the right choice indicators showed up, was the I will not give up on you either, because that is... that's the good emotional shit. Yes, yes, good. Rod. Silence. Okay, and now we're gonna be repeating a bit, but that's fine. Rod. I've been aware of another way to break my curse from the beginning, but I would rather die than do what it is I need to do. Lucette. Do what? Rod. Have you not read? Rod's voice trails off when he sees my confused expression. He clears his throat. Rod. Forget it. There's nothing more you can do. The reason I never told anyone the truth of my curse is because I never wanted anyone to blame themselves for not being able to help me. I was already a lost cause the moment Viorica really fell in love with someone else. I could never take that happiness away from her. Rod becomes silent, his gaze downcast. The vulnerable expression catches me by surprise. Lucette, you should have told me about your curse a long time ago. Rod, how many times must I repeat myself? Telling you about my curse won't change the outcome. Lucette, I could have tried to help you. Rod, why are you so insistent on helping me? Lucette, because I care about you. Shocked. My face warms up when the words escape my lips. Rod also flushes. Rod, what are you saying? Lucette, that... I'm worried about you on Emmeline's behalf, of course. I do not want her to think that I let you die. Rod lets out a deep sigh. Rod, just stop talking. Lucette, you are in no position to tell me what to do. Rod, Lucette. There is a hint of warning in his voice. Lucette, now you better let me help you, or... Hey! 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 Lol, indeed. Oh man, it's the good stuff. Alright. Sorry, I'm just excited because it's a romance story. It's like, yeah, you know, they're finally kind of they're like, they were finally starting to admit their feelings to each other and to themselves, and indeed. Indeed. This is very This is very, okay. My words are cut off when Rod presses his lips to mine. Lucette, shocked. It is only a brief kiss, and when he pulls away, his usual somberness has returned. Yes, that is a way to shut her up. Rod, in fact, Rod, I told you to stop talking. Lucette, silence. Extremely blushy silence. I can only stare back at him, baffled. Sebi, oh my god, Sebi. Rod, do you realize that you just kissed the princess? Rod looks at Sebi, then at me. His face colors once more. He takes a step back, his lips pressed together. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. I don't know how you do something like that and just not even realize you're doing it, but I don't know. Something about, I mean, maybe it's a tsundere disconnect between thoughts and actions. Rod. I'm sorry. Without any other warning, Rod turns abruptly and stalks out of the room. Sebi falls from his shoulder and falls to the ground, but Rod does not notice in his hurry to leave. I stare after him in shock. Sebi. I can't believe he just ran away! I walk to where Sebi is and kneel down to pick him up. Lucette. Are you alright? Sebi. I'm fine. Thank you, princess. Sebi tilts his head to the side. Sebi. That Rod! I wonder when he will start acting like a man. Suddenly kissing a girl like that is so unromantic. Thank you, game! Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mind most of the times in games like this. Sometimes they'll go and they'll kiss the protagonist will get kissed by the love interest before they're quite all the way there. But, and I don't mind if it's like the first kiss is a surprise kiss, like, trope-wise. But IRL, like, it is so much, like, consent for kisses, may I kiss you, is also very romantic. And like, in fact, I appreciate Sebi calling out that doing it real sudden like that is not always the best way to go. Like, again, it's definitely a thing I'm willing to put up with in, like, the fictional context, but it's nice and wildly unexpected to see it called out. Anyway. Suddenly kissing a girl like that is so unromantic. Yeah, he could have done, like, you know, the Kabe-dan wall slap and been like, may I kiss you? And then Lucette would have been like, wah! And it would have been also very cute, you know, but that's not Rod's personality. That is not Rod's personality at all. So I'm gonna stop spinning weird fantasies off of that. And continue. I think about the warmth of Rod's lips pressed against mine and flush again. Sebi. Rod may not say much, but he has a lot going on in his head. Thoughts he doesn't ever want anyone to know. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I know he really does care about you, princess. He's just a little standoffish and has a difficult time showing his emotions. He's sensitive like that. AKA, he's a tsundere. Like, Sebi may not have this world may not have the language for that, but, like, he is classic tsundere archetype, and really Lucette should understand because she is too. Oh, Sebi. Take it from me! I'm always in his head! Lucette, thinking to herself. I care about him too, but what will become of my feelings once I break my curse? I will return to being his stepsister when this is all over. The fact that the game continues to really harp on the whole step-sibling vibe makes me think that maybe something will somehow happen to change that. Lucette, thinking to herself. No, this is not the time to mull over such thoughts. Sebi.
I'm sorry for asking this of you, Princess, but can you return me to Rod? That boy is useless without me.
The exasperation in Sebi's voice makes me smile. Lucette, thinking to herself, Sebi acts like Rod's older sibling. Out loud. Of course. When Rod does not open the door, I knock again. Rod's eyes widen as soon as he sees me. His face flushes a dark crimson. Lucette, also blushing. I'm here to return Sebi. Rod nods before slowly taking Sebi from my hands. Rod. Thank you.
Sebi. Be careful not to drop me again next time.
There is a hint of a smile on Rod's face as he taps Sebi's face. Rod. Sorry. Lucette, thinking to herself, he looks so much more at ease when he smiles. Rod faces me again with an apologetic expression. Rod. Lucette, I really am sorry for what I did earlier. Alright. Choice time. So, I apologize as well. Did he just speak without Sebi? No. He didn't. I actually was tracking that. He spoke the moment Sebi was returned to him, which makes sense. Like, he... Wait. Yeah, no, I'm not planning to apologize. I'll be a little put out if the game says that that is the correct answer. I don't mind saying you don't have to apologize. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking for what you said. Did he just speak without Sebi? So he sees Lucette. Lucette says she's here to return Sebi. He nods. And then after he takes Sebi, he says thank you. So, alright, confirmed. The game is not inconsistent. It is correctly not having him speak unless Sebi is on his person. Alright, so I don't really think Lucette has anything to apologize about, so I think I already saved this, but, never hurts, just in case. I can get behind you don't have to apologize, though. Oh, I wasn't thinking inconsistent. Were you thinking, like, maybe he broke his curse and didn't even know it? Yeah, I was thinking Vairika is not his love anymore. That's a fair point, and actually that would be a really cool way to, like, demonstrate that his curse was broken. Like, he says words without Sebi, and they're like, wait, what? And everyone is terribly confused. But I guess we'll see, because that would be kind of a clever angle. But not yet, apparently. Then again, he doesn't seem to have tried. Anyway. Oh, Lucette says, you don't have to apologize I know you did not intend to do that in the first place. I think he intended damn well. I think he just didn't think through what he was doing, but that's fine, that's fine. So, Lucette says, I know you did not intend to do that in the first place. Rod. The truth is, He trails off, then averts his eyes slowly to the floor. Suffice it to say, I am not supposed to feel this way about you. Lucette. Silence. What exactly are you feeling? Yep, that was the correct choice, I'm glad. Rod flushes deep red before turning away. Rod. Don't ask me such an embarrassing question! Your tune is showing. The hovering silence becomes more pronounced as we both stop talking. Lucette. You said you wanted to talk to me about something you discussed with Lady Parfait? Rod. Yes. I meant to tell you that Delora will be here tomorrow to investigate. Now that we know Sir Alcaster is not the witch, we have to start our investigations over. Lucette. Actually, about that, I know who the witch is. Rod. Shocked. You do? Lucette. It's Sir Mithros. He is the real witch. Rod. Sir Mithros? So when Sir Alcaster was throwing around accusations last night... Lucette. They were true. Sir Mithros is also already aware that Delora has been investigating the palace. We need to warn her. Rod. Then I will send Lady Parfait a quick message. We need to keep up our guard around him too, especially you. I'm sure he already knows that you're the Crown Princess. I nod in response. Rod. For now, we should wait for Delora to show up tomorrow. But it's getting late. You should go and get some rest. The moment he says the words, I realize he is correct. My eyelids are heavy. Lucette. You're right. I think I shall take my leave. I am about to leave when Rod suddenly grabs my hand. Lucette. Shocked. I turn to face him. Rod. Lucette. This is the first time I have heard him say my name so warmly. Rod. I just want to... I can almost hear my heartbeat ringing in my ears as I stare at him with anticipation, but Rod says nothing else. Rod. Silence. Rod eventually releases my hand with a shake of his head. Out loud. It's nothing. I cannot help but feel dejected. Rod. Good night, Lucette. Lucette. Good night, Rod. Moments after Rod closes the door, I hear a familiar voice whispering in my ear. Mithros. Ah, I see. Lucette. Shocked. I jump back in surprise and stare at him with wide eyes. Sir Mithros is leaning casually against one of the pedestals. Mithros. So that is where the prince disappears to every now and then. I had no reason to care before, but now I see it. If my guess is correct, he is also in league with the Lucis Bearer. Lucette. Silence. When I do not answer, Sir Mithros smiles and shrugs. Mithros. Well, it does not matter. I glance around us and notice the green shield from earlier. Lucette, thinking to herself. Once again, no one will hear this conversation. Mithros. Now that the prince has confirmed your doubts, what will your next course of action be? You want to help him break his curse, yes? Do you know, this whole time, I was like, I assumed Sir Mithros just, like, poof teleported, and it never occurred to me that he might have just been invisibly creeping on them the whole time, but now I think he was invisibly creeping on them the whole time. Lucette, thinking to herself. Rod may have given up on breaking his curse, but I refuse to do nothing. From the way Sir Mithros is taunting me, he must know of some other way to break the curse. Rod will not be happy about this, but I need to use whatever means necessary to save him. Lucette, out loud. Do you know how to break his curse, Sir Mithros? Mithros. I will assume you have not read the full fairy tale if you do not know. Yes, princess, I know. Lucette. Tell me. Mithros cocks an eyebrow and waves a finger at me. Mithros. Do you not realize by now how witches work, princess? I propose a deal. I will help you, but you must help me with something in return. Lucette. Help you? If you are planning on betraying the king. Mithros. I have no plans of taking the crown, or harming any members of the royal family. Lucette. What? Then what is it that you would want from me? Mithros. I prefer keeping you in suspense. I do enjoy surprises. You will find out the day after tomorrow. Lucette. That is my... Mithros. Your 18th birthday. I look at him, perplexed. Lucette, thinking to herself. Why does it have to be on my birthday? Okay, there's a really obvious reason here that is not occurring to her, but, like, that her 18th birthday is when she inherits the Tenebrarum crystal. So, seems pretty obvious to me that it's related to that somehow, but what specifically beyond that, I'm not sure. Also, I do not believe him in this next statement. Mithros says, "Don't worry, Your Highness. What I request from you will also make for a pleasant gift." Lucette, silence. Mithros, what do you say? I bite my lower lip as I consider. I am worried about Sir Mithros's request, but I no longer have time. Viorica's marriage is tomorrow, and Sir Mithros has the upper hand. Lucette, I understand. Mithros, good. Now remember, dear Lucette, witches are bound to their oaths. In order for the prince to regain his voice and life, something must be taken by force, just like in the fairy tale. Lucette, thinking to herself, what does he mean by that? Out loud, tell me what I must do. Mithros, oh, I did forget to mention this, but it is not you who must act, but the prince. Lucette, what? If Rod could help himself, he would have done so. Mithros, please trust me, princess. You will have my aid, and I will make sure the prince's curse is broken. I don't trust Mithros as far as I could throw him, and I have no upper arm strength, so that is not at all. Today is Viorica's wedding day, and also the day Rod is destined to die. Sir Mithros explained his plan briefly last night. He told me that he would have a valuable item delivered to Rod that he would need to use to break his curse. Could it be a dagger? Could it be a dagger with which to kill people? I bet that's what I'm thinking. He further explained that it was something he would need to use after the wedding. I tried to question him further, but he disappeared before I could, saying that he needed to start his preparations. Lucette, thinking to herself, I do not completely trust him, but I am running out of time and have no choice right now. The royal family has left the palace to attend Viorica's wedding. It is unusual for the king to attend another noble's wedding, but Viorica is an exception given that she is one of Rod's and Emmeline's best friends. I had a moment where I was like, wait, how is it another noble's wedding, before I remembered that Viorica's fiancé, Decimond, is a noble. So, kind of weird for the king to show up at a minor noble's birthday, but like, when it is a close personal friend of his stepkids, that's, makes sense. Despite Sir Mithros's reassurance, I am still restless. Lucette, thinking to herself, Sir Mithros told me that everything would be all right, that Rod would not instantly die the moment Viorica got married. But why must his involvement be reserved for a time after the wedding? Why does he not act now? Delora, someone looks like they're in a bad mood. Lucette, shocked. Delora suddenly stands before me, smirking. Her appearance shocks me so badly I nearly drop the dishes in my hands. Lucette, what impeccable timing. Delora, we've heard from the prince about Mithros. No wonder I was iffy about the man. I should have realized he was the witch. Lucette, do you know him? Delora, yes, I do. Delora walks closer and places both of her hands on my shoulders. Delora, listen to me, princess. I am warning you. Stay away from Mithros, do you understand? That man is a sly devil. He cannot be trusted. I take a deep breath to still my rapidly beating heart. Lucette, thinking to herself, I hope I will not regret asking for his help. You probably will, let's be real. Delora, princess, I need you to promise me that you will stay away from Mithros. Lucette out loud says, yes, of course. But she's lying. Delora, good. For the time being, I will resume my investigation. If I'm lucky, I'll find out what Mithros hopes to accomplish. Oh yeah, she totes will. Yeah, totes will. Lucette, actually, he is not in the palace right now. He went with the royal family to attend a wedding. Delora, a wedding, huh? How unusual. Lucette, thinking to herself. I can only assume he must be there at the wedding to help Rod. Lucette, this is preciously idealistic of you, but problematically. Problematically so. Delora. Well then, better make use of his absence while I can. I'll see you later, princess. When I am left to my own thoughts, my mind returns to the issue of Rod's curse. Sir Mithras mentioned a similarity with the fairy tale, which means I may have a chance of finding out more. I decide to go to the library when I have the time to pick up the book. Lucette, why didn't you do that 5 chapters earlier? I'm sorry, I know the answer is because then we wouldn't have a story we would lose a lot of the story, but Lucette, if you're going to think to go to the library now, why didn't you think to go, like, when you first found out he had a curse based on the Little Mermaid? Anyway. Alright. Mini rant over. I am now on my way back to my quarters with the book in hand when I see Rod walking towards me from the other side. His eyes are fixed on the floor, so he does not notice me as I approach. Lucette. Rod? Lucette, thinking to herself. He's still alive! Does that mean Sir Mithras has succeeded? Rod. Oh, it's just you. Rod's voice still comes from Sebi. The realization instills a deep fear inside of me. Lucette, thinking to herself. He's still cursed! How much time does he have left? Much to my surprise, Rod actually smiles at me. The smile is forced, however, and does not reach his eyes. Lucette, thinking to herself. He looks crestfallen. Alright, well I got an opinion here. And I'm also just gonna turn it down. I have an opinion of which of these is the better choice, and the better choice is Are You Alright? Because How Was the Wedding is a little tone deaf. Just a little. Alright. Oh man, I just realized. I mean, you say that, but I feel like it makes more sense to ask him if he's all right. Like, How Was the Wedding just seems kind of mean to me. But I mean, we'll find out. I'm gonna try the Are You all right answer and see how that goes. Asking him how he is worse, like she knows he's not okay. I mean, yes and no, because the thing is, he's not dead on the spot, and... you do make a fair point. She can see it, why make him say it out loud? But How Is the Wedding just also feels mean. Like, I don't... When you put it that way, I'm not sure I like either of the choices. And to be fair, like, we, the audience, have reason to think that he might be more alright than he thought he'd be. Well, if I'm wrong about Are You Alright, we'll just get to see both versions, and that will be fine. Alright, so I am gonna try having Lucette ask it, Are you alright? Even if it is maybe a little, on the nose. Sorry, I'm also just gonna turn up my spacey a bit. Right, so, Rod. Silence. I'm fine. Lucette. Are you sure? Rod. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, fine. The fact that he is immediately denying it and like, what? I'm fine, means you were probably right. You were probably right. I'll go a little further, but I think you were right and I was wrong, and I should have listened. But that's okay. It doesn't matter, because this way we'll just get to see both versions. So, Rod says, but I'm tired, Lucette, so for tonight I just want to rest. Good night. Yep, that feels incorrect. That feels very incorrect. Alright, alright. Alright. You were not wrong. Asking how are you when it's very obvious that he's not fine, that does actually make sense as, like, really? What do you think the answer is? And I can acknowledge that. And I mean, I guess to be fair, like, my objection to asking how the wedding was is just that it feels like rubbing salt in the wound, but, like, on the other hand, same argument I made for Are You Alright, honestly. Like, maybe the wedding won't have been that bad for him. He's certainly going to be more comfortable talking about how the wedding went than talking about his own feelings, and that's a point I hadn't considered, so it is okay. We're going forward with hopefully the right answer this time. So, we are instead going to ask him, how was the wedding? Okay, even Lucette thinks that that was a slightly awkward question to ask. I quickly clamp my hand over my mouth after I ask the question. Lucette thinking to herself. Rod just saw the person he loves getting married today. I already know how he feels. This is what she could have said for that Are You Alright one too, but that's fine, that's fine. Alright, I'm actually gonna take that back and stop flailing about it, and I'm just gonna go, oh, you won't let me. Alright, I'm just gonna load it back from the question, and I'm going to move forward with things. Nah, in retrospect, you make a really good point. Like, she knows he's not okay, she can see it, why make him say it out loud? And, I mean, as it turns out, he wasn't even willing to, so. Alright, so, I'm gonna just read going forward. So how was the wedding? I quickly clamped my hand over my mouth after I asked the question. Lucette thinking to herself. Rod just saw the person he loves getting married today. I already know how he feels. Lucette out loud. I apologize. I should not have asked that. Rod looks at me, surprised. Then, to my shock, he starts chuckling. Lucette. Why are you laughing? Rod. You looked like a criminal caught in the act of a crime. Lucette. I apologize for trying to be sensitive, Your Highness. Without realizing it, I smile back at him. Lucette, thinking to herself. It looks like Rod has finally learned to converse with me normally. I hope this will not be the last time I see him smile like this. Okay, fair. That was actually a very cute tsundere back and forth bantering thing. That was very cute. Rod. I'm tired, Lucette. I will now retire for the night. Rod looks at me again and smiles. Out loud. Good night, Lucette. Okay. Actually, that was nice. So she asks him how the wedding went. Immediately goes, oh shit, why did I ask you that? I'm so sorry. And looks, like, so guilty about it that Rod is like, oh my goodness, that's kind of adorable. And then they do a little bit of happy banter, and that is a much better interaction. All around, yeah. I think I just feel bad for not. You even told me it was this answer that made more sense, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna have it my way. Anyway, it's fine. I'm going to move forward with this lovely story full of very cute interactions, and with all the right choices, I should get a good ending. I mean, I won't get the ending till next time, but... Without waiting for my answer, Rod begins to walk away. I glance down at the book in my hands, then slowly open up to the last page of the Little Mermaid fairy tale. I start reading from the section where the mermaid's sisters explain how to get her fins back. Oh, yeah, yep, and in fact, I was thinking, does he have the whole night? Because it did in the fairy tale, yeah. Oh, you're the one playing, lol, yeah. No, that's also fair, like, you know, I know, I wouldn't want to, like, total strangers coming in and telling me, like, how to do things, so that I don't mind, because, you know, if it's someone I know, and that's also maybe useful to clarify for anyone watching the VOD, like, if you are my friend, it is okay to give your input on what I should do in a game, and I may or may not go for it, but, like, if you do not know me, it is a little more grating. Alright, so, from the Little Mermaid book. Take this knife. Before the sun rises, you must plunge it into the heart of the prince, and you will be a mermaid once again. Lucette, shocked. The book falls from my hands and collapses to the floor. I stare at it, dumbfounded. Lucette, wait, this means... Lucette, thinking to herself, Rod needs to kill Viorica? Then the item that Sir Mithros mentioned earlier. Could it be the knife? I need to find him! I turn and start running in the direction of Rod's room in hopes that I will still be able to catch Sir Mithros there. When I come to the end of the hallway, however, it is not Mithros who stands by Rod's door. Lucette, thinking to herself, Emmeline? Oh, what the frig did Mithros do to Emmeline? Oh! Emmeline is slowly walking in the direction of the throne room. Her movements seem oddly mechanical. I rush toward her. Lucette. Princess Emmeline, where are you going? Emmeline. Must go to Rod. Lucette, thinking to herself. Why is she going to the throne room? Rod is back in his room. My eyes catch on something shining in Emmeline's hand. It the knife! It the knife! My heart nearly stops when I see that it is a knife. Lucette. Emmeline, what are you... Emmeline. If he kills his beloved with this blade, his curse will break and he won't die. Lucette. Actually, I feel like maybe I should have read that a little more toneless. So I'm gonna try that one more time. Emmeline. If he kills his beloved with this blade, his curse will break and he won't die. Lucette, thinking to herself. It is as if she is in a trance. Is this Sir Mithros' doing? Is she under one of his spells? Lucette. Emmeline, snap out of it! Emmeline starts walking again, ignoring me. When I try to approach her again, thinking to steal away the knife, a shadow suddenly comes to stand between us. Varg looms in front of me, smirking. Lucette. Where did you come from? Let me through, Varg. Varg. No can do, princess. Don't you want to save the prince? Lucette. I look at Emmeline, who has not even turned to glance at us. I glare at Varg, who is still standing in my way, grinning. Lucette. Step aside, Varg. Varg. Ah, feisty. You are a far more interesting princess than your stepsister. I try to sidestep, but Varg follows my motions. I try again and again, but he just thwarts my progress. He holds his hands up in the air, eyebrows raised. Varg. Tell me, what would you do if I did let you go? Would you stop him from killing the girl? Lucette. Rod would never kill her. He would never do anything to harm the person he loves. Lucette, thinking to herself. He refused to do it, and he has no reason to do it now. Varg is silent for a few moments as he considers. Varg. Interesting. He steps aside and bows. Go ahead, then. Lucette. You are letting me go? Varg. I would like to see this play end as it may, without any strings attached. Okay! So look forward to that! Alright, so next week is, what? Sorry. I'm gonna ignore that. Right. So, that was the end of Chapter 9. And Chapter 10, is the mermaid's voice. That's obviously telling us that we're gonna see the end of Rod's curse. Well, we knew that we were gonna see the end of Rod's curse one way or the other, because Chapter 10 is gonna be the last chapter. Alright. Yeah, I recommend ban rather than ignore, but that's me. That's fair. I just feel like I remember that being a person who spoke in my chat before, normally. Right, I'm gonna... No, I'm not gonna just you know what? People can request to be unbanned, and I think that that is a fair thing to... How do I even do that? Sorry, I feel a little bad for like dealing with that live on stream, but... Yep. Alright. If that was like a joke or something, they can always just message me to be unbanned, but that was... Advertising in streamers' chats is generally frowned upon. Even if it is an odd choice of thing to advertise. Alright. Anyway, so sorry about that. That is a thing that happens when streaming sometimes. So that was the end of chapter 9. Got done a lot faster this time because I am at the very least had, 20 or 30 minutes less of intro in the beginning. So yeah, so that's the stream for today, and we can look forward to the thrilling conclusion next week. This time next week, or roughly this time, 4 p.m. next week. So, and yeah. So I also plan to stream again. I am thinking I will probably be streaming it again this Friday, in the 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. time slot. Maybe a little earlier, actually, just because I do have evening plans, as some watching may be aware. But I can, yeah, I will set the exact time at a later point, but I'm gonna hopefully do a midday stream this Friday. Yeah, and then my next one after that, of course, will be the thrilling conclusion of Rod's Route next week. So look forward to that. And thank you so much to anyone who came out and watched this while it was live, or who's watching it now, or who is watching it after the fact. I appreciate you all so much. So much. I really do. It makes me happy. Thank you so much. And if you enjoy watching my stuff and you're not already following me, I would please ask that you consider that maybe I would love it if you would. That is what I will say. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.